Smith starts as Farrell drops to the bench for the visit of France. My name is Mark. Let's talk rugby. England versus France is on Saturday 11th of March at Twickenham. Kickoff is 4:45 p.m. GMT. The last six between these: 2022, France 25, England 13. 2021, England 23, France 20. 2020, France 24, England 17. 2019, England 48, France 8. 2018, France 22, England 16. 2017, England 19, France 16. So on those last six, like, it's pretty much been the home team winning every time. Is that going to continue? This French team probably think they're good enough to go to Twickenham and get a win. Let's have a look at what the bookmakers think, though. So odds: England are 13-10, and France slight favourite 7-6 on. So, even the bookmakers think this one is going to be tight. The draw is 22-1. Let's have a look at the teams then selected. So starting with England, fullback is Freddie Stewart, right wing Max Malin, centres Henry Sladen, Ollie Lawrence. They're pretty settled in the centres at the moment. Anthony Watson continues on the left wing. One of the big changes, Marcus Smith there, starting at 10. Jack Van Poortvliet continues at 9. Into the forwards then, loose head is Ellis Genge, Jamie George the hooker, tight head called Sinclair. Second row is Maro Itoje and Ollie Chesham. Back row, Lewis Ludlam, Jack Willis and Alex Dombrandt. Onto the bench then, we have Jack Walker, Mako Vunipola, Dan Cole, David Ribbons, Ben Curry, Alex Mitchell, Owen Farrell, and Henry Arundel. So onto the French team next. Fullback is Thomas Ramos. Right wing, Damien Penaud. Centres, Gael Ficou and Jonathan Danty. Left wing, Ethan Demortier. He's having a fantastic tournament so far. Halfbacks then, Roman Ntamak and Anton Dupont, as you would expect. Onto the pack then, loose head Cyril Bay, hooker Julian Marchand, tight head, another new face in terms of like playing this Six Nation, is Dorian Aldegheri. The second row, though, much more settled, Thibault Flamand and Paul Willemse there. Back row, Francois Cross, Charles Olivon and Gregory Aldrit. Onto the bench, then we have Pito Mauvaka, Rita Wardy, Sipili Valatea, Romain Taufi Fanua, Sekou Makalu, Maxime Lucy, Yora Mofana, and Mathieu Jalabert. So, in terms of caps, then for the backs, England have 184 versus France's 240. Forwards, 290 for England, 203 for France. Starting 15s, 474 for England, 443 for France. So pretty close between them there. On the bench then, though, England have 303 caps to bring on to France's 137. And obviously those 303 include Farrell, but maybe that England bench, if it's a close game, could actually tip it in their favour. Totals 777 for England and 580 for France. Okay, so in terms of where the teams are, so I feel like this is a big test for Borthwick's team. They are an improving side, but this French team probably step up from anything they've played to date. Obviously, Scotland, really good team as well, but I think France still just on slightly ahead of them. So another huge test for Borthwick and his team there. The big news is obviously Marcus Smith in over Owen Farrell. So there's a lot of debate about Smith versus Farrell versus actually George Ford, who's been in and out of the training squad, not the match day squad. Obviously very contrasting players. Smith loves to run the ball, go for the gap. Farrell maybe seen a bit more of a steady Eddie. His kicking has been poor this Six Nations, so that's one tick that he would normally have, just going against him as well. And, weight of public opinion, I think most people, English rugby fans, seem to just want Smith to be the new 10 and Farrell to be kind of, backup or eventually phased out up to 23. But I think Farrell still has a lot to offer in England shirt. The starting pack is unchanged. So it's good to see them being fairly settled there. It looks like Borthwick has, his group of players that he wants starting for him nailed down more or less, especially in that second row where there was a lot of chopping and changing over, under Eddie Jones as well. Itoje would have numerous different partners, and then the back row as well, kind of the start of the Six Nations. A lot of people, kind of tried in there as well. Okay, so other news is Courtney Laws. He's out due to a shoulder injury. He's going to miss the rest of the Six Nations. Dave Ribbons replaces him on the bench. And also because Owen Farrell's on the bench, Ellis Genge is going to captain the side. So I think that's pretty, important for him to captain England in such a big game. It can go, obviously can go two ways. It can be absolutely inspirational to the team, have a great game and lead them to victory. Or, we've seen it before where players with the captaincy, it can kind of detract to their own performance. So let's see which way it goes for him in such a massive game. Basically, the reason why he is the captain is because regular captain Owen Farrell's on the bench, and also Courtney Laws is the vice captain, and he's out. Owen Farrell then, as I said, he's on the bench, but he's been working with Johnny Wilkinson on his kicking this week, talking a lot about like kind of the mental preparation for it, and not letting it affect the rest of his game, and being able to rediscover that confidence to be able to nail his kicks. Borthwick was also talking about obviously Farrell being on the bench because that's all anybody really probably wants to talk about in terms of England. He was talking about wanting to have him on the pitch at the end of the game, etc., etc. But words, there is probably kind of smoothing over the fact that he's dropped his captain to the bench. I'm sure that there are little comforts to a great competitor like Owen Farrell, but maybe he will get the chance at a crucial kick towards the end of the game. I do actually think that this England team can run France pretty close. Obviously, all about whether they can stop the French from having that period that they purple patch where they can score 2 or 3 tries in no time. But yeah, like Borthwick, it's a more settled side. But whatever happens, I think in this game, that debate over 10 I've talked about before, it's going to keep raging until unless Smith is starting every game at 10. There's always going to be a debate about Owen Farrell, whether he's playing well or not on that. So on to France then. Jelonch, he's out of the team. He's out for the rest of the Six Nations with a shoulder injury that he sustained against Scotland. He had surgery this week. He's a doubt for the Rugby World Cup. Fingers crossed he actually makes that because, Rugby World Cups, you want to see the best players there, no matter who you support. Kroos replaces him in the starting team. Also, Dante is preferred in the centres to Mo Fana, who drops to the bench. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how that centre partnership go against Slade and Lawrence for England as well. Aldeguiri starts at tight head. Valatea continues on the bench. Like that guy, always a bridesmaid, never the bride, comes to mind with him. Like, he's been the backup tight head prop all through basically this Six Nations. And, Antonio, he gets banned. They bring in House, and you think, okay, House gets banned. Well, maybe now he gets to start. No, they bring in Aldegheri. So let's see if Aldegheri continues that fine tradition of, for the Six Nations at least, of French tight heads getting red carded in the game and letting Falatay come on and finish the game. Also, Pieto Mauvaka and Maxime Lusu, both of those were injured for their first 3 rounds, are available again now, and they're both been drafted on to the bench for this one. So look out for them, maybe providing some impact, trying to remind Galtier what they can provide to the team off the bench. France, they still have a chance to retain their title, and I don't think they're going to give it up without a fight.